Today, we're diving into an exciting comparison between Apple and Samsung, specifically focusing on the charging speeds of the recently launched iPhone 16 series. This is something a lot of you tech enthusiasts have been waiting for. It turns out the iPhone 16 charges faster than Samsung's latest flagship devices, including the Galaxy S24 and Z Fold 6. So let's break it down and see what makes Apple stand out this time around. iPhone 16's charging capabilities. Earlier this week, Apple launched the much-anticipated iPhone 16 series. One of the biggest highlights of this series is its new 25-watt wireless charging support over MagSafe, which is 10 watt higher than what we saw with the iPhone 15 series. That alone is an impressive leap forward for Apple, but there's more. Apple has also introduced 45-watt wired charging for the iPhone 16 series. This is a major upgrade, as it's 16 watt higher than the iPhone 15 Pro Max's wired charging capabilities. What's really interesting is that this 45-watt charging speed matches the charging speed of Samsung's Galaxy S24 Ultra, which is Samsung's most powerful flagship phone. But here's the kicker. This 45-watt charging speed is actually 20 watt faster than the charging speeds found on Samsung's other flagship devices like the Galaxy S24, Galaxy S24 Plus, Galaxy Z Fold 6, and Galaxy Z Flip 6. Apple catches up to Samsung in charging speed for years. Samsung has been ahead of Apple in the charging speed department. But now, with the iPhone 16 series, Apple has not only caught up, but has actually surpassed many of Samsung's flagship phones. And let's be honest, that's a huge statement considering Apple's usual reputation for being slower to adopt new technologies. It's also worth noting that China's Quality Certification Center has certified the iPhone 16 series, confirming that these phones support 45-watt charging and a 15 volts, 3 amperes power specification. This adds even more credibility to the iPhone 16's charging capabilities and proves that Apple has finally stepped up its game in this area. Is Samsung falling behind? Now, with Apple catching up and even surpassing some of Samsung's flagship devices, it's fair to ask, is Samsung falling behind in the charging speed race? It's no secret that Samsung has been leading the pack in terms of smartphone technology, but when it comes to charging, it seems the company hasn't made significant improvements in recent years. Sure, the Galaxy S24 Ultra does support 45-watt charging, just like the iPhone 16, but the rest of Samsung's premium phones are still lagging behind. The Galaxy S24, S24 Plus, Z Fold 6, and Z Flip 6 all cap out at 25 watt, which is noticeably slower than the iPhone 16's 45-watt charging. This could indicate that Samsung needs to step up its game, especially since Apple catching up shows that the competition is fiercer than ever. What about Samsung's future? All is not looking promising for Apple fans. In conclusion, Apple's new iPhone 16 series has made significant strides in charging technology, finally catching up to Samsung's flagship devices and even surpassing some of them. The 45-watt wired charging and 25-watt MagSafe wireless charging are impressive upgrades that make the iPhone 16 a solid contender in the smartphone market. But the big question remains, will Samsung take notice and make improvements in its upcoming devices? We're all looking forward to seeing how the Galaxy S25 Ultra stacks up in this area, but for now, it looks like Apple has the upper hand when it comes to charging speed. That's it for today. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. As always, see you in the next video. In just a few months' time, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will succeed the iPhone 15 Pro Max and take on the mantle as the best and most advanced iPhone out there. Although there's plenty of time until September and a lot can change, we seem to know a lot about the upcoming top iPhone model based on rumors and leaks. How is the iPhone 16 Pro Max shaping up against its predecessor? What's changing and what's staying the same? Let's see how the iPhone 16 Pro Max shapes up against the current best iPhone Apple has in its roster. First up, let's talk about design and size. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will inherit the same design language as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, employing the same titanium frame with a completely flat screen. The major difference between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro Max will be size. The upcoming iPhone screen will grow to 6.9 inches across, a significant bump over the iPhone 15 Pro Max's 6.7-inch display. To achieve this, they're likely shrinking the bezels down even further and making the phone itself slightly larger overall. As per the rumors, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will measure 163mm in height and 77.58mm in width versus 159.9mm and 76.7mm for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, respectively. A small but notable change, all things considered. The iPhone 15 Pro Max debuted with an action button instead of a mute switch and a USB Type-C port at the bottom, so those two features will be carrying over to the newer model as well. However, the iPhone 16 series will be scoring another button, dubbed the Capture button. Colors-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro Max was available in 4 understated and titanium-inspired colors. We've heard that Apple might use another titanium processing technique that will make the iPhone 16 Pro Max glossier and also more capable of retaining colors. Moving on to display differences. As mentioned, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come along with a significantly larger display, measuring at 6.9 inches across. Aside from the size, when you don't clearly expect any other major changes, we're certainly getting a liquid Retina XDR display with an OLED panel delivering superb colors, contrast, and exceptional maximum brightness. The screen will support 120Hz ProMotion refresh rate, making scrolling through the interface and on-screen content way smoother. Now let's delve into performance and software. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will feature a second-generation 3nm chip, possibly dubbed Apple A18 Pro. As one can imagine, we expect that the Apple A18 Pro will have better performance than the Apple A17 Pro. Due to the heavily rumored focus on AI for both iOS and the iPhone 16 range, we expect that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come with a much improved neural engine to take care of all the generative AI features. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will also be a first to debut iOS 18 with a focus on artificial intelligence features. The new iPhone 16 Pro Max will also support faster Wi-Fi 7 and a more power-efficient 5G modem, keeping you future-proofed on the connectivity front. Let's talk about the camera. As the iPhone 15 Pro Max delivers a host of important camera features, chief among which is the new 120mm telephoto lens, the iPhone 16 Pro Max could finally address one of the forgotten cameras that hasn't recently scored any significant overhauls, the ultra-wide. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes that Apple will be introducing a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. When it comes to audio quality, iPhone Pro Max devices are always up there with the best, setting the benchmarks for all other manufacturers to measure up against. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will be no exception. The same generally applies to haptics too. iPhones are arguably the best devices when it comes to haptic feedback, giving us precise and accurate vibrations that are sufficiently strong yet not overpowering. Lastly, battery life and charging. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will reportedly feature a much larger 4,676 mAh battery compared to the 4,422 mAh battery in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Charging-wise, we haven't heard anything about a potential charging speed increase, but we hope to see one on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So far, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is shaping up to be a logical improvement to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, delivering key upgrades in important areas like screen size, performance, AI, and battery life. Thus far, we haven't heard anything particular about a potential price increase, so it's safe to assume that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will start at $1,199 for the 256GB version. Of course, if there's an iPhone 15 Pro Max in your pocket, then you'll probably have few reasons to upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Stay tuned for more updates on the iPhone 16 Pro Max as we get closer to its release date. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest tech news and reviews. Thanks for watching. Until next time.